About 23 deer down at the bottom at the conservation land down there. A lot of it's wet. About 23 deer every day of my life I see, right down there at the bottom of the yard where it turns into conservation land. I can't tell you how many ducks and how many geese I see. I can't tell you how many coyotes I've seen since the snow melted and they began to eat the geese eggs and the duck eggs. So if I pre-adventure and look out my window, 90% of the time I'm going to see the animals that I just named to you. You hear me? I'm either going to see geese, ducks, coyotes, or deer. Every now and then I'll see a wolf pass through. So if it is that all that George Zimmerman saw the whole time was black teenagers, and it was black teenagers that were doing the robbing and the pillaging and everything else, would you not, if you lived in that neighborhood, be on guard for the next black teenager that come through there, thinking that maybe this is another robbery? Wouldn't you think? I mean, if you got a critical thinker and you got a logical mind, you would think that maybe this is another robbery, so that's why he approached him. See? But it seems to me that with logical conclusion, I think you'll find this if you find an impartial jury, that he was just defending himself. Now, I got to move on from this story to another one. Get a drink of water here. Got a good one coming up for you, too. How would you like it if maybe 2:30 in the morning you get a big knock on the door? How would you like it? How would you like it if you started getting a knock on the door, 2:30 in the morning, beating on the door, you know, hey, open up! No, you wouldn't like it too much because you're trying to sleep, most of us. Some of us stay up to 3. Me and Wires don't sleep much, but that's okay. It ain't because we ain't got a clear conscience. But anyway, guess what? Already in Virginia, this comes from WorldNet, baby. Already in Virginia, guess what they're doing? They're launching abusive midnight wake-up calls. And I'm not talking about calling you on the daggone phone. I'm talking about beating on your door. Wouldn't you think that unless your house is on fire and the neighbor won't tell you about it and you don't know about it, or wouldn't you think unless somebody had a bad wreck right there and needed your help or something, wouldn't you think that you ought to be left alone? The right of the people to be secure in their homes, in their vehicles? But police in Richmond, Virginia have announced an initiative for officers on the midnight shift. They're going to look in your vehicles. They're going to look in your vehicles in Virginia, if you live there, and other places too for that matter, and they're going to inspect them and then knock on the door of the owner's home during 12 to 4 a.m., period. You got to be flipping joking me. You got to be flipping joking me. And if they discover a situation that would lend itself to theft or vandalism, so they're saying that they're going to take proactive action and preemptively look through your vehicles from 12 to 4, and if they see maybe if you left your cell phone in there and they can see it, they're going to run up to the door and wake you up in the middle of the night, scare you half to death, and drag you out of the house in your pajamas or in your underwear, or you might sleep in the nude for all I know. It ain't none of my business, and make you get dressed and go out there and get your cell phone out of the car. Welcome to Nazi Germany. Welcome. This is what their excuse is. See, but a civil rights organization says the policy treads on citizens' constitutional rights and, moreover, creates a dangerous situation for the citizen and the police officer. I will totally agree with the civil rights organization that this does create a very, very, very volatile and dangerous situation, especially from 12 to 4 in the morning. It creates a volatile situation if I get a knock on my door at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because ain't nobody supposed to be coming here unless they call me first. You dig what I'm saying? So in any event, They go on to say the recent Trayvon Martin incident from Florida should serve as a stark warning of how the fear and misunderstanding of a homeowner can turn into a situation that involves tragedy and loss of life. John Whitehead, president of the Rutherford Institute, said in a letter to Richmond Police Chief Brian Norwood. So this is in Richmond, Virginia. He said, except in the most compelling circumstances, the Richmond police should avoid intrusions that create this kind of danger to themselves and residents. He wrote of the city, police plan to teach residents not to leave valuables inside in a parked vehicle. So now you got the cops. Now you got the cops trying to teach us that we shouldn't leave nothing in our vehicles. Oh, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Okay, so they're not going to go, listen, they're not going to police the neighborhoods for the rapists. They're not going to police the neighborhood for the guys in masks and the burglars, whether they be white, black, Mexican, Russian, Afghani, or whatever. No, they're going to look around for your cell phone. They're going to look around for your pair of sunglasses, and then they're going to come beat on the freaking door and tell you that you need to get up and go get it and teach you a lesson. You listen to me. We got the badge and we got the weapon. You need to get that cell phone and put it back in your house, and don't you ever leave it in there again. Yeah, I hear you. I got to come out of this. I got to come out of this shirt. I got to come out of this long sleeve shirt. It's getting hot up in here. You know, well, wait a minute. But wait. If someone does break in your house at 9 o'clock and they have a weapon and they shoot you and rape your wife, the police will be there in time to draw the chalk line around you when you're dead. They'll be there in time to take the statement of a raped woman that can barely contain herself, but wait from 12 to 4, they'll be there to knock on the door and wake you up over a cell phone. Yeah, absolutely. Sure they will. What in the name of God has this nation become? Let me read on. I got to read on. I got to read on. There you go, wires work. Absolutely. Anyway, Lord help me, Jesus. A spokesman for the police department told WorldNet Daily officials likely would have no comment on the program or the letter from Whitehead. So they ain't even going to comment on the program. They're just going to start knocking on folks' door at midnight. Listen to this. And you know how they are. There's some good peace officers, but most of them are lunatics. There's some good ones, but most of them are lunatics. They absolutely are. So they don't got no comment on what they're going to do. Whitehead said the initiative. Now this is the chief. I believe it said John Whitehead. John Whitehead said that the initiative not only is a misguided effort to curb property crimes that will primarily alienate residents of the city, but the initiative infringes upon the Fourth Amendment. I told you the Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be secure in their houses and with their possessions. Listen, let me run something by you. Most of the people that own a cell phone, most of the people that have a purse, most of the people that have a computer, they're going to have the cell phone, because, you know what, a lot of people don't even use a landline anymore. They use a flipping cell phone. They're going to carry it in the house with them. Most of the time, they're going to take their laptop in with them because they use it after they get home from work or wherever. This is a bunch of crock. These people are a bunch of liars. The Richmond Police Department that put this initiative in are a bunch of liars that want to take over your Fourth Amendment rights. That's exactly what they are. Tell them I said it. That's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are. While the police officers do not necessarily violate the prohibition on unreasonable searches and seizures by approaching a residence, while they don't necessarily, I love the way that they try to worm their stinking way around it. Yeah. I love the way they worm themselves around it. Because it says, while the police officers do not necessarily violate the prohibition on unreasonable searches and seizures by approaching a residence, knocking on the door and asking to speak to the occupants, the right of the police to come upon the walkway entrance of the porch of a resident is not absolute, he said. Well, I got news for you. I can tell you it's absolutely illegal to do it unless there is probable cause. Okay? Now, if they become like Dionne Warwick, psychics, and what they need to do is create a flipping 1-900 number and see if they get you to answer and let them psychically tell you that they believe within 2 hours your cell phone's going to be missing. What in the name of God is going on? What in the name of God? Yeah, I'm absolutely believing this too. I believe that this is profiling of the utmost extent, and I'm not talking about color profiling. I believe this is profiling so that therefore that they can say they wake up. Watch this. Say they wake up somebody that just got in an argument with his wife. No domestic abuse here. And say the wife just got upset. Say they lost their job, they got upset, and she happened to throw a vase or something at him. It happens. It's not necessarily domestic abuse. She's just fed up. They can't pay their bills. Throw a vase or something, and all of a sudden, ho! He pulls out his freaking nightstick and beats the guy up, and thinking that's just the way the stuff can escalate. People should have their freedom. You understand? People should have their freedom, but this ain't good enough for them. He said a wake-up call wholly exceeds and abuses the idea of implied consent, which allows this kind of encroachment by police upon the curtilage of a resident. You see, the law allows police to come onto a property for legitimate purposes. Aha. But it also should be during what? Reasonable times of the day. Unless there's a robber that has broke into an old lady's house that can't defend herself. I added that to the article. Nevertheless, they're going to continue to do this. Just like you got Russian troops right there in Colorado training with American troops. Just like you had the Polish troops in 2010 training with the National Guard. Just like you've got the police now with these big tanks and that armor-piercing stuff can't get through some of it. It has become a Nazi police state right before your very eyes. See, not only the concern of the rights of the people here is going to be destroyed, but the safety of people. Because, by the way, if they feel threatened, if they're going to come tell you about your cell phone, and a lot of people get ill when they get woke up. And if they think that the people are upset because they're beating on their flipping door, and they come and they snap at them, they probably throw them down, tase them, pepper spray them, throw them in there, and make up charges on them, you see. This is the way. This is the way America has become. There can be little doubt. There can be little doubt that on certain people's houses and doors that get knocked on, that the officer's late night knock on the resident's door is going to spark. There's going to be violent confrontation with an alarmed resident who could certainly believe that an intrusion is taking place. There are definitely other means available to serve the goals of this so-called wake-up call initiative. But I got news for you. It ain't shining a flashlight in somebody's parked vehicle and then beating on that door with a flashlight from 12 to 4. I'm out of time. I'm out of time. I got to tell you something. They are pushing and pushing and pushing, y'all. They are pushing and pushing and pushing. And they need to quit it. They need to stop it. I'm out of time. I want y'all to have a great day. Special treat tonight, endtimewatchman.com. Special treat. Guess what? Y'all ain't going to hear me shout tonight. I got you another Fred Stone Sr. coming up tonight. You're going to enjoy him. I'll say a few words, but I need for you to hear this tonight. The daughters heard it last night. Y'all have a great day. And may God bless you, and may God bless the remnant of Israel that belongs to Jesus of America. Stand strong against evil, whether it's wearing a badge or wearing a black mask. And whatever color they are, don't cull them. Because if they're evil, put a stop to it. Y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all soon.